Modern Kamen Rider shows tend to have a sort of implicit power creep baked into the narrative, and Kamen Rider Build is no exception, with each new power up overtaking the last. In fact, Build even quantifies strength in universe as hazard levels. By the end of the first quarter of the show, the protagonist, Sento Kiryu, had created the Rabbit Tank Sparkling Full Bottle, categorically outpacing the Trans Steam system, which is hard capped at hazard level 3. At the start of the following core, the Splash Driver makes its debut, outperforming Sparkling. Not long after that, Sento obtains the Hazard trigger and once again pulls ahead. The dangerous power up item takes some time to master, but by the time Sento does, even it proves to not be enough. The escalating threats would quickly lead to the invention of the Magma Knuckle. The various upgrades in Kamen Rider Build have a tendency to get left behind, rendered largely irrelevant in the wake of the latest toy. Though, to the show's credit, this is explicitly framed within the context of a literal arms race, the various factions ceaselessly pushing for the strongest, cutting edge weapon systems. That is, until we are introduced to the Genius Full Bottle, the key item for Kamen Rider Build's final form, Build Genius. That's not to say that Build Genius completely bucks the power escalation trend. In fact, within the show itself, it's probably the strongest power up that the protagonist group has access to. But in practice, Sento doesn't actually use it to bulldoze everything in its path. No, Build Genius's primary utility comes from its ability to lower the opponent's hazard level. For a Kamen Rider who outwardly champions love and peace, but is tragically rarely able to act on it due to the circumstances surrounding him, it's only fitting that his final form, the functional apex of Sento's character, comes bundled with the ability to de escalate conflicts. But it would be remiss to attribute this advancement strictly to Sento, because the Genius Full Bottle, and by extension, the zenith of Kamen Rider Build, is the collaborative brainchild of multiple characters. Key among them is the scientist responsible for the baseline build system, Shinobu Katsuragi, his son, Takumi Katsuragi, and Sento himself. The far more pragmatic Takumi takes his father's research and from it creates two distinct weapon systems. Takumi original transformation systems are largely standalone, and notably, both the Trans Steam Gun and the Splash Driver hit walls at certain points. It's the far more idealistic Sento who explicitly builds on the elder Katsuragi's research. Everything that Sento makes is an add on or a supplement to the build system, and in doing so, he's able to push it further. This is most indicative in how the build quartet of protagonist riders eventually all transition to the build driver for their strongest forms. It's reflective of how science is never truly practiced in isolation. Progress exists because any and all work done by forebears is foundational. The show literally frames it as a discipline that bridges generations. And this comes full circle with the Genius Full Bottle. Sento and Takumi would both work on it separately. In spite of their differences, their efforts together is what creates Build's final form. Truly a winning formula, this one.